Hey, welcome back to the Hotel Orloff, ladies and gentlemen. It is January the 11th, 2026, in the year of our Lord. Sunday afternoon, and watching throwback television, channel that I recently found courtesy of Friar Tuck. Said we all should. Now they're right now they're running the Star Lost. Now, the Star Lost was a TV series from around 1973, and I only became aware of it because there was a parody of it in the Marvel Mad magazine imitation called Crazy. And I think maybe in issue 3, they did a parody of the Star Lost. And I remember they had the spaceships made out of Tinker toys, and then the whole premise of the parody is that this is like the worst TV show ever. And the show was meant to be something different. It's kind of a notorious show. It's this Canadian show. It's shot on videotape, which is already a very bad look for a science fiction show. And it was the concept was by Harlan Ellison, and he it was a long story where Harlan Ellison took his name off of it. It's just a long story. I think maybe he might have even written a book about this horrible experience he had with this Canadian production company. But anyway, it didn't last long. It looks very cheap and everything. But anyway, they run it on Sunday afternoons for some reason on this channel. But David Wilcock's on right now, so I think it's time that I switch over to the YouTube network. See what he's talking about. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. We've got, looks like Iran is on the brink of the current government that came in when I was in junior high school. I remember at the Kmart. Came out of the Kmart, and underneath my mother's windshield wiper was this. I may still have the flyer, and it had these evil-looking, authoritarian-looking people with caps, and they were supposed to be. It's supposed to be the Shah of Iran. It was this long page talking about how the Shah of Iran was just terrible, and then the Shah of Iran was replaced, and then we had the hostages and everything. And that was, yeah, that was an interesting experience. And I remember Carter tried to send in a helicopter to rescue them, and it crashed in the desert. All these junior high school memories. And then I remember the second that Reagan became president, they released all the hostages. These are just my memories of being a kid. But so the people of Iran, that's been like 40 years since I was in junior high school. So I guess now maybe they're coming back. Let's see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Who knows? Okay, so he's already been on for 10 minutes and 29 seconds. I'm gonna record. I always record him. I don't know why. I just do. Part of I'm sort of a preservationist, maybe. Is that what you'd call it? I like to archivist, I guess. Another exciting, amazing episode of David Wilcock Live on YouTube. Yes, this is a very, very fun topic that we're going to have today. I really, really geeked out on this one. I built tons of slides, probably way more than I need. And wow, look at the look at the difference between the way that I look in this hair versus the slide here. The hair has grown quite a bit during that time, as you can see. Yeah, well, gotta Well, I built a piece of furniture this weekend, so I got something done and done a lot of cleaning and stuff. And let's plug it in the phone so it doesn't. All right. Okay, the name of David Wilcock's show today is The Photon Matrix. Who's asking? Yes, David, what is the photon matrix? Wasn't photon like a laser tag back in the 80s or something? I remember there were these businesses that set up that were called Photon, where you go and shoot each other with lights in a dark room or something. I never went to that, but I remember it existing. Okay. Recording. Good. Well, today I thought I'd look at some comic books. I'm supposed to tell you in the first couple of minutes what the show is going to be about. Then the algorithm will listen and know how to promote the show, but I didn't. I waited until we're almost 7 minutes in to tell you that. Oh, well. Okay. All right. Yeah. This poor guy's trapped up on a mountain in the freezing winter. You know, his wife is no longer with him, and his dog passed away. It's just him up there, and hopefully he'll sell that house and move on. Okay. What are in these boxes? I brought 3 boxes down to look through. Well, it looks like we're into Marvel Collector's Item Classics #4. I'm pretty sure I have earlier issues, but they must be in a different box. This is a great comic that reprints. This reprints Fantastic Four #7, Tales of Suspense 41, Strange Shells 111, with the first appearance of Mordo, and the Incredible Hulk is that #4? I can't, man, I still can't see properly close up. These are some cheaters. Issue 5. Issue 5 reprints Fantastic Four #8, Tales of Suspense 42, Strange Tales 114, Hulk #4. So maybe that other one was Hulk #3. I don't know. Anyway, this is this and Marvel's Greatest Comics, which reprint, and there were 3 titled. Well, this is Marvel's Greatest Comics. This is Marvel Tales and Marvel Collector's Item Classics, which will turn into Marvel's Greatest Comics. These square-bound, thick issues are, you know, if you're just starting collecting, or if you just want to read some old comics, this would be a great way to do it, because unlike reading an omnibus or one of these reprints that's done on slick, really nice paper, this is the same experience as reading these comics back then in the 1960s, because this is from the 1960s. This issue is probably from about 1966, I'm guessing, and it's reprinting stuff from several years before. So it's still a Silver Age comic. It's still going to have that wonderful smell and everything else of a Silver Age comic. It's going to be wonderful, and it's affordable. And what? Okay. All right. Here's number 6. Here's here's another copy of number 6 that's beat all to heck. Let's take it out and I'll show it to you. I'm not sure how this must have been a present from someone. I think maybe could be from Night Tiger, because he sent me a giant set. Because I never put double boards in, so that's somebody else did that. But it's the heck does that say? This is in rather terrible condition, but it's just this side of acceptable for me. As far as if it was a little bit worse than this, in a store, I would pass it up. But if I didn't already have this, I would buy something in this condition, because it is, got a little piece gone. The tape is pretty much, that's how tape gets when it's old. Yeah, it is a little bit yucky, but it's completely readable. And wow, this story here, where Hulk confronts Tyrannus, was just on Saturday morning, on that Toonami Aftermath channel that another channel that Friar Tuck told me about. Yeah, this is one of the stories that was adapted into the Marvel Superheroes cartoon from 1966. So this is that's the way I visualize the Hulk. That there is my Hulk. So lots of different versions of the Hulk over the years, but I would go with this as my definitive Hulk. And of course, it's got this wonderful, this is why you've got to get the old comics. Although I was just telling you, don't buy old. Yes, buy old comics, but do it in moderation. You can't go nuts. This is the way you can buy comics in moderation, getting the cheap ones. But anyway, I wouldn't think this would sell for more than $5. It shouldn't, but who knows what they do nowadays. This is a wonderful Saturday morning on CBS. You've got Space Ghost, you've got Frankenstein Jr., the Filmation Superman, The Impossibles. I hate to use the term Karen. I think that's a really crummy thing to do to a perfectly good name, to use the name Karen, and now lots of nice people named Karen have to have their name besmirched. But anyway, busybody, annoying, the same busybody annoying women that whined about the G.I. Joe toys, action figures. They didn't call them action figures in the 60s, but it's like, we don't want our kids playing with war toys. I guess I can understand that in a way. You don't want to glorify war to little kids, but it's just a fun thing for little boys. And anyway, so the toy companies caved and made G.I. Joe. Well, Hasbro made G.I. Joe into an adventurer with a beard, so he can't be a guy in the army if he has a beard, and he goes out like Indiana Jones does. But the same thing happened to Saturday morning cartoons. This is um, well, Batman premiered on ABC in January of 1966, and immediately Saturday morning cartoons went that direction. This is December of 66. So, January of 66, you got all that spring, that summer, and then for cartoons to be developed. And then in September of 66, towards the end of the same year, it started with Batman. It's all pretty much all superheroes. That's pretty much all that he's a super. They're all superheroes. Lone Ranger doesn't technically have superpowers, but he's a hero. These are all heroic figures. So, and the other networks were the same way. And so, and then you had the syndicated Marvel Superheroes cartoon on. So, kids were probably seeing this cartoon based on this story. And I think the cartoon combined this story with another appearance of Tyrannus. But so anyway, by 1969, as they said, the cartoons were just too violent. The heroes were hitting each other and gunfire, and Captain America was fighting Nazis. They didn't like seeing that, so they took all the superhero stuff off TV and all the violence, and then the best you had was Scooby-Doo. But of course, in Scooby-Doo, the monsters never even really existed. They all turned out to be just somebody pretending to be a monster or a ghost at the end, which was disappointing. I always wanted could they just did one episode, maybe it really was a real ghost or a monster. But no, they always had to unmask the real person at the end. And all the cartoons growing up in the 70s, they all had morals and taught you about, pollution is bad. But still a lot of fun. The old 60s cartoons still were around. They weren't on the network, but all you had to do is turn to the UHF channels that were running Saturday morning cartoons too, and in the afternoon and in the early morning, and that's when you could see the old 60s stuff. So it was still around. Here's a Doctor Strange story. See, the thing about it, this is a comic from 1966. It's a vintage comic, but it's just this is the second time these stories have appeared. And so it's really fun. It's just there's a certain experience touching the paper that's different from an omnibus. An omnibus, oh, look at that, man. Watch Marvel superheroes on TV. See, they're heavily promoting the cartoons on. See, I really liked during the early Bronze Age in the 20-cent comics when they'd have a little blurb on the bottom of just about every page promoting something. I always love the marketing, and of course, the next year in 1967 there would be a Fantastic Four cartoon from Hanna-Barbera and from Grand Tree Lawrence that did the Marvel Superheroes cartoon. They would have a Spider-Man cartoon that was done with more fluid animation. Although I know I'm never going to knock the animation in those Marvel Superheroes cartoons. It was, oh man, it was obviously very static, but it was, it just looks like comic book panels. Look at that, man. Now I see there's this AI. Like I just saw a Charlton Horror comic from the 60s. Someone had it on Facebook and they'd animated it with AI where they were, I think it was a cover of Ghostly Tales. And I've seen all these different comic book covers, and people animate them to make them come to life. So that means you could now create with old comics. You could take each panel and animate it and turn it into something spectacular. You could bring all these comics to life. I know AI is the enemy, and it's going to destroy the world. But in the meantime, before they just maybe it could bring us a little bit of pleasure before it destroys all of us and exterminates all of mankind. It might as well have some fun on the way out, because AI is not all bad, but I think it is going to put a lot of people out of work. Or maybe everybody could be put out of work and then just given money from all the AI robots making zillions of dollars. They just feed us to be fat, like in what was that movie, Wall-E? We can just float around in chairs and be fat. That'd be perfectly acceptable to me. I know that was a cautionary tale, but all right with me, man. Number 7. I just love these things, man. Number 8. So it's giving kids a second chance that had missed these comics first time around. And all it was doing was just fanning the collector flames. The kids getting more and more excited about the Marvel age of comics and all that. Number 9. Now, my older brothers didn't work for them because they like DC, but they didn't like Marvel. But I was, learning to walk when these comics came out. So, man, that's a great pose of the whole. Number 10. I'm missing number 11. See, I hate that, because then I say, well, I've got to get a copy of number 11. So I'll look on mycomicshop.com and see if there's a number 11, but I can't afford that. I can't afford anything, man. We're barely scraping by. This eye surgery I had, my wife, not 100% sure, but it looks like her job has just ghosted all the employees and just doesn't not. They would always send a text or an email. We have a shift tomorrow. Be ready. And they haven't contacted anyone since right before Christmas. So either they're taking an extremely long Christmas break or they fled the country. The people that she does a home job on the phone. And man, we're just getting hit we just keep getting hit, man, financially. But I started a GoFundMe, and then someone donated $25 yesterday, and that really helped too. So I appreciate. There was a $100 donation, and I'm pretty sure I know who did that, and I really appreciate it. I know who you are. You're a great guy. He's helped me out before. And then there was a $20 donation from a wonder. They were anonymous, but I don't know. They say it's anonymous, but then they send you an email, and it's you can kind of figure it out. Whatever. And then someone sent me some money last night, and man, that's really nice. I mean, because it really is helping us. 13. 14. Now, in a couple of months, we're paying like $309 a month to the people that did the roofs and siding. Because I had insurance, but I had a high deductible, so I'm still paying off the deductible. So in 2 months that'll be paid off. So we'll have a little extra money. But here's 15. And this comic continued on as Marvel's greatest comics all through the 70s. This one I have the original. We're starting getting to the time period where I have some of the original comics. It's another copy. So, in fact, I just showed you on yesterday's show this original Fantastic Four comic. This one isn't sealed, so let's look at it. First of all, let's admire the Roman soldiers. Someone was saying this morning that an 8th grader in 1955, the way could pass a history test that a college graduate couldn't pass today. They're saying they had a better knowledge base from school, and not just from school, from reading, because people used to read more, and even from comics. And because, and someone was saying, well, they also taught fewer subjects and didn't have as many little areas. I don't know, but I doubt a lot of college graduates even know much about ancient Rome. The forbidden Oriental fighting arts. You can become an expert with them. Meet Wallace M. Roman. Damn, these glasses just aren't good enough. Famous author of forbidden Oriental fighting arts and of super karate. As a youth in the U.S. Army, he attained stationed in Japan. Ryman met and married a Japanese girl. This gave him the special privileges and family ties that allowed him to learn Oriental defense and attack techniques not ordinarily available to outsiders. He spent 3 years in Japan learning and perfecting these little-known methods. Man, I really, on the 23rd, I'll get prescription glasses, but right now it's a little hard reading the small print, even with these cheaters on. This print is fine, but that little tiny print in that ad. Yeah, this is the era stories that they adapted in that Marvel Superheroes cartoon. There's the cardboard tank you could obtain for $7. Missile firing. They're selling an autographed photo of Stan Lee here. Suitable for framing or pinning on your dartboard. Wow. That would be cool to just make a living selling autographed photos of yourself. Shamed by your English? You could soon speak and write like a college graduate if you let me help you for 15 minutes a day. If you've ever been shamed by a mistake in English, maybe I could save you from years of disappointment. I have met countless numbers of intelligent men and women who are being held back in their jobs and social lives, often without knowing it, because they cannot express themselves fully and easily. What about you? If people are not impressed by the way you speak and write, and if you're honest enough with yourself to admit it, you've already taken the first big step to success. Man, but look at this. This just gives you lots of entertainment. It's just a bunch of vintage comics all in one package that usually, because the idiot comic collectors of today, the younger ones that are Maybe they're not idiots, but they don't know any better. They've been taught by Comic Tom 101. They've been taught by people on YouTube how to collect. They don't watch this channel. Nobody watches this channel. Well, you're watching it, but this video is not going to get more than 200 views. You come back to it 3 years from now, it won't have more than 200 views. That's just the way it is. And because I'm not telling you what to speculate on, I'm telling you to buy this. This is not going to go up in value significantly. I don't know. I don't think this is an advertisement for a black and white Marvel magazine. The first time that Marvel tried to break into the territory that exclusively Warren was doing with creepy and eerie, and they hadn't started Vampirella at this point, but they're trying to do a black and white version of Spider-Man where they could aim it at a slightly higher audience, although they didn't, it wasn't like creepy and eerie. They didn't put extreme violence or peekaboo kind of, well, you know how Warren was. Oh, look at this. Warren was great, but Marvel didn't have a success with it. They did later when they started with Savage Tales around 1970, and then they started doing all the horror, Dracula Lives, Vampire Tales, all of that. See, this is how the Fantastic Four was supposed to look. Didn't look that way in the movie, so. Oh, this is a great one. This is, there's someone found there's an issue of Playboy where you can see that Jack Kirby copied the exact pose here. I don't remember if it was a painting or a photograph, but that's he actually used a magazine as a reference for that. That's no all artists do that. I'm not knocking him for that. Anyway, and they always had this nice page here telling you what's in the issue. Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 16. Oh, what year is this from? Probably, I think 68. August of 68. Anyway, what I was trying to say is those young people they don't want to get these and slab them. They don't want them, so there's not a big demand for them, and so you should be able to get them cheaply, which is a good thing. 17. Now, this may go up in value because Dr. Doom's on the cover, and people are speculating about Dr. Doom because he's in this new Marvel movie, and whether we'll just have to see. It's just, I just love these old comics. I tell you this in every episode, I was liking those movies for a while, but they just had to beat it out of me. Like everything else in culture, they just had to go for the woke mind virus. Oh, the tape fell off. Good, that already improved that comic. Here's 21. Indeed. And here's my older copy of 21. I accidentally bought that other copy. This one is, you see the VG next to 21? That means this was in very good condition when I got this in the early 80s. And I also can tell how old it is because I put it in a My Light bag. And when were My Lights invented? Someone tell me down in the chat down below. Yeah, because as soon as they were invented and they showed up at Lone Star Comics, I bought them, and see, this is before they even had backing boards. I had to take one of those backing boards out of that comic that was just double boarded and put it in there. So I can tell these things I was buying in the late 70s, early 80s, around the time that Iran fell. the Shah of Iran was taken out and they put in the Ayatollah Khomeini. Right about that time is when I was buying these reprints of the Fantastic Four, and I was buying the old 60s Fantastic Four when I could afford them. Same time period. Not only do I have 2 copies of the original issue, here I've got a reprint of it. Oh, when did it change? Is that the first one where it changed? 22 was Marvel Collector's Item Classics. I don't know. I don't have 23. It either changed with 23 or maybe this is the first one where they've changed it to Marvel's Greatest Comics. 25. Now, I showed you the original yesterday. The background that's a photograph behind the Submariner, it looked a lot better in the original printing than it does here. 25. 26. So here's another one I bought from way back when. See, next to the 6 on 26, there's a penciled in G. I've never had the heart to try to erase the pencil because in a way it's part of my memory of when I got the comic, and that's how the comic store did it. I talked to a guy in a comic store. He said that worked for Buddy Saunders at Lone Star Comics, and he was the guy that suggested, let's stop writing on the comics. And so he was the guy that, it's weird how you just run into people that, and then I ran into some young guy that had worked for mycomicshop.com. What did he do? I think he priced comics. They trained them to do that, and he worked there. I guess I have 2 copies of that. Why, I guess I have 3 copies of that one. Well, sometimes you find these things. I think I was finding them for a couple of bucks each. And it's like I couldn't leave them behind. And it's like, what if I don't have that already? Here's 29. Now that's a issue of Fantastic Four I don't have. So it's great to... I don't know. This just puts me in a good mood looking at these comics. Because right now, everything's doom and gloom on the news. In life, it just seems like everything's falling apart, and I'm just hoping that this GoFundMe takes off and helps bail us out through this mess. But 30. 32. And I just want to get into the Social Security website and see how much would I get if I take Social Security at age 62. I'll be 61 in a few months, and I can visualize a year and a few months, and then I don't think it would be much because most of my life I paid into a different kind of retirement instead of Social Security. But how many jobs did I have during my life in my 20s where Social Security was taken out? It's not going to be as much as a normal person because I retired from my job and I'm getting retirement, but I worked other jobs during my life that I paid into Social Security, so I haven't. When I start getting that, maybe that'll. Okay, so 33 I think was about the end before the Bronze Age started, and they went to 20-cent comics. So I decided to separate my Bronze Age from my, and I don't know why. I don't know. So I just wanted to keep all the Marvel comics with the corner boxes together because they just seem like a whole different era. Okay, so now we're starting with Marvel's superheroes. This confuses me every time. Yeah. Okay, Marvel Superheroes number 12. And then I wonder, well, where's issues 1 through 11? And I think that it was Fantasy Masterpieces. But I decided to keep Fantasy Masterpieces under the F. Yeah. I think that's what it is that, yeah, well, I got the box right here. Let me check and see. That confuses me every time. I think they started the title as Fantasy Masterpieces and then changed it to Marvel Superheroes because they had a cartoon on syndicated television called Marvel Superheroes and tied in with it. Okay, Fantasy Masterpieces. Let's look at Fantasy Masterpieces. Here's number 2. Don't have number 1. Here's, don't have 3. Number 4, not in the best shape. It's got some bad tape damage. 4, 5. Yeah, I think what it's going to be is that this is the actual first issues. 2 copies of that one. Of course, here we've got the Aurora models. So Marvel is starting to really take off. 9. Yeah, we're going to see that there's not going to... Yeah, that's what it's going to be. 10. Here's another copy of number 10 with the world's worst tape pull. That's about the worst tape pull I've ever seen. I don't even know how it's possible to pull that much of a cover off. And here's a beat up copy of number 10. Here's number 11. And that brings us to this copy of Fear that I traded a friend named Sammy. I traded him this. I don't know what I traded him, but I got this from him in 3rd grade. And I think it must have been something that I've been looking for decades. It's like, where is my copy, my first DC Tarzan? Where is that Laurel and Hardy DC com, which I've replaced both, but it's like, why are these missing? And I'm thinking maybe when those comics weren't that old, they didn't seem as interesting as this monster comic. Anyway, here's Fear. Now this would turn into Adventures into Fear with the Man Thing and all that. Yes, indeed. Okay, so that explains why there's not a first 11 issues of Marvel. Sometimes you forget this stuff. Okay, so Marvel Superheroes. Well, that. See, it has a new story, right, with the origin of. Now, you talk about why these modern movies. See this guy here? Who do you think would be a good person to play him in a Hollywood movie? How about Glenn Close? That's who played him. Pretty good casting, huh? Well, here's 14. See, it's reprints here. Ooh, I love that date stamp. Did you catch that there? February 8th, 1968. Sometimes they just have the month and the date, but when they have the year also, that's great. So it tells you the exact day that this showed up in the store. And it's dated May. Usually there's a 2-month discrepancy between when it arrives in the store and when it's dated. That gives it 2 months on the stands. But February and March, this arrived in the stores 3 months before the cover date, which means they wanted to give this 25-cent comic a longer shelf life. Another copy of the same one. Ooh, this has always been. This is a fantastic cover. See, they sometimes would have new stories in here. Number 15. And I've got a couple of copies. Beautiful Herb Trimpe cover for Phantom Eagle. He's a new character. Oh, it was a letter from Psychotronic Squirt Gun. I must have gotten this in a, not must have, but definitely got this in a claim sale. I used to do these claim sales. So this was back in October. Yeah, I don't know if he even knows who I am, but I got that from him. The one that I had before, it kind of looks like, you see it just like, it looks like it went through a fire or something. It's just, so he had a better copy that I tuned into his show, and I got that, and an 60s issue of Metamorpho I didn't have, and some Gold Key stuff, 17. But I don't think anyone does those claim sales anymore. They were real hot for a while, but then the thing about those claim sales, it's very, you have to sit through so many horrible comics, and then a great comic will appear, and then you're like, it's so anxiety provoking trying to type in claim that, and it's like before someone else gets it, it's just too much anxiety. Here's Marvel Superheroes number 17. So it's better to just, I see nothing, I know nothing, I don't see a claim sale on, it's not good, not healthy. Oof. Some point someone sold this for $4. So has a news story in it, Black Knight, and then it has a Golden Age Submariner, or that's probably early 50s. So whether you consider that the Golden Age to me, I've always thought of the Golden Age as pretty much being the World War II era and right after. And by the time you got to very late 40s, the superheroes had kind of died off, and and the horror stuff was coming in. To me, I always considered that a different time period. I don't think of EC Comics as being Golden Age comics. I consider that. Well, I've heard people call that era the Atom Age. I swear I heard someone call it the Uranium Age once, but I don't know. I think people call it the Atom Age, but these this is not one of the World War II era Human Torch stories. This is when they tried to bring the Marvel heroes back in the early 50s, and it didn't. They just weren't able to recapture or rebottle that lightning or whatever the stupid cliche is. This would be an older story, all winners. This would be Golden Age. Yeah, this would be Golden Age. So that's Marvel Superheroes is now. Well, you can see how it still has the same DNA as Fantasy Masterpieces. It's reprinting the older Golden Age stuff and 50s stuff, and but with a new story. And then later, Marvel Superheroes in the 70s is going to be reprints of the Hulk stories from Tales to Astonish and the Submariner stories. That will happen later. So anyway, Black Knight. I remember people were speculating on the Black Knight. It's like, he's going to be in a Marvel movie. He was in the closing credits of one of the worst movies in the history of mankind, The Eternals. Okay. First appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy, but basically not the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, from the movies. Someone sold this for a dime at some point at a garage sale. Only this character with the arrows, played by, what, was it Michael Rooker in the movies? He Yondu, he's the only character, I think, that although you kind of see at the end of the second movie, I think, they kind of show the sort of this team with Stallone in it, but they never continued on with that. And oh well. Okay, here's number 19. You say Kazar, I say Kazar, you say Kazar, and I say Kazar. Let's call the whole thing off, right? Looks like this one also sold for a dime, maybe at that same garage sale. 19, I'm missing 20 and 21, 22. They were doing X-Men stories and Daredevil stories at this point, reprints. 23, still X-Men and Daredevil reprints. 24. 25. Someone put a little mustache on the Submariner there. Still not as bad a travesty as what they did to the Submariner in that Black Panther movie that did not have the Black Panther in it. I guess that's why they called it Wakanda Forever, because Black Panther was not in his own movie. It's like, let's make a James Bond movie, but let's not put James Bond in it. We'll just call it MI6 Forever. How about that? And we'll have a little 17-year-old, the niece of James Bond will appear as James Bond. Here's 28. That's basically what they did with that garbage. 28. Here's another copy of 28. Someone didn't like that price, so they scratched it out, probably at another garage sale. But it was because of that long ago garage sale that this comic still exists and somehow fell into my hands. Here's 29. Oh, that's really is so wonderful. It has to be Marie Severin art. 29, I'm missing 30. 31. Okay, and this box has some of my early Metal Men in it. Here's Metal Men number 2. Of course, I don't have number 1. Why would I have number 1? I don't know why I don't have it. Here's number... Wow. I can't read that. I hate with the fold, the subscription fold. Well, it's all right. I mean, this is an extreme fold. It's number 5 from December of '63. So, this was probably on the newsstand when Kennedy was assassinated, this issue. So, now, I don't know if I doubt this is a subscription copy. Who's going to subscribe to this by issue 5? You already have a subscription. The crease is probably to hide it in your notebook, to take it to school. More than likely, that's why this was creased in half. I don't know. It's no telling. But The Metal Men sure was a great comic. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's just great. So great, I'll probably write a song about the Metal Men tonight. And, I already tried doing it I've already written several songs about the Metal Men. But perhaps tonight on Suno.com. I've run out of credits until the 20th when I'll get my new supply of credits. And then, so for right now, I get about, every night they give you like 10 10 free. Yeah, everyone gets 10 free a day. And then when my subscriptions starts again, and on the 20th, I'll go back to almost unlimited, but I always wind up maxing out the unlimited. I don't know how many you get, probably like 2,000 or something ridiculous, and I go through it. This is number 7. It's just so much fun creating your own songs. Because you can create a song that sounds like it was written in the 60s about the Metal Men, like it's an actual TV show of the Metal Men, and this is their theme song. You can do that. This is issue 8. 10. I don't have a near complete collection. It's just whenever I could find these, I would get them. And they usually weren't very expensive because this isn't a title that normal comic collectors collect. This is a comic that is, it's like when you find people that like this comic, you know, okay, they're kind of like a brother in a way. This has got a February 26th date stamp on it there. See, the people that would not like this comic because they've never heard of it or whatever reason, they would not like that date stamp. I like the date stamp, but they would consider it to be a big problem that it has that date stamp. And they try to like put it into some chemical to try to remove that date stamp, when, you know, to me, that's part of its history. That's part of its charm. This comic is so beat up. This is another copy of the same issue. It's just I better not even look at that one. Here's number 17. Here, number 18. Well, you know, you saw that on the Marvel comics, Lone Star Comics would write the condition next to the price. But on DC Comics, they'd write it up here, right under DC. See, the G stands for good condition. That's in the old days before they came up with this number system. Whenever CGC or whatever they call it started, and see, this is one's not in very good condition, but this one, see, it's $3.50. It's, you know, it's worn, but it's readable. It's not. It's intact. So these aren't very expensive, and they shouldn't be. Something great about that. Well, I mean, I always figure that things I like, normal people won't like. That's why I came out of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I told you this before, to a preview showing that came at the Six Flags Mall in Arlington, Texas. I went with my mother because could I drive then? What was that, 1981? I would have been about 16. Maybe I was just about to get my driver's license. But anyway, I went with my mother to see Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I came out loving the movie, you know, and I said, well, that just movie's going to flop because people aren't going to understand what it is. And it wound up being successful, so I was very pleasantly surprised. They could never match it in any of the sequels, though. I've got multiple copies of some of these, as you can see. Here's 23. 24. Now, I've got hardcover books back there in the library that reprint this, but there's nothing like, here's another copy. There's nothing like reading the original ones because of the ads and the whole experience of holding something that some kid held in their hands in 1966, 1967. To me, a lot of it is about the time period that they are produced. You know, just it's a time machine. I've got so many copies of this issue. Probably because it says mods at the top, you know, and it has that music connection to that time period. Here's another one. And I probably was like, I'm in a store and it's like, this is only $2, and I'm not sure if I have it. And then I went, what did I have? Four copies of that one. Well, Grottu, you're in a financial crisis. Why don't you sell your duplicates of that? Why are you doing a GoFundMe? It's like, you don't understand. It's like, why don't you sell your children, Grottu? Why don't you just sell your pets? That you could probably get some money for them. Why? It's like, no, you just don't understand. Well, if maybe you understand. If you're watching this far into the show, then you understand. Just, I don't know, man. 32. I'm just going through these comics to avoid extreme depression. Here's one I was thinking of sending this off. My first submission to CGC. What do you think I could get? Like a 9.8? That's why they say don't put tape on comics. The acid burns into the comic. The tape falls off and then leaves acid. Okay, well that's that box. It's labeled Marvel Collector's Item Classics to Metal Men, which is a stupid thing to do, to write it on there, because then you wind up outgrowing the box and having to scribble on it. Like this, it says Tales to Astonish, then I crossed out to Astonish, put of Suspense. It just looks completely unprofessional. Oh wait, this other box is before that. Let's look at that box. Yeah, this has later period Superman. By later period, I mean, you know, to me that's late period because it's 15 cents. Randy. 236. This Lois Lane, there's at least 4 or 5 covers where she's like in hell or she's being married off to Satan. She had some dabblings with Satan, a little bit too much, man. You gotta. I would caution Superman about that choice of girlfriend, because I never saw Lori Lemuris in hell or about to be married to Satan, and I never saw that with Lana Lang either. It was only Lois Lane, so you gotta wonder whether she had ties with Anton LaVey or something. What was her deal, man? 240, but sometimes guys make bad decisions. I don't know. I don't want to besmirch Lois Lane. Here's 241. At least she realized it was unpleasant being in hell, and she was asking for Superman to rescue her. Who is the mystery woman that captured Superman's heart and soul? Look at that. It says a silver anniversary Superman story and an extra, a new fabulous world of Krypton thriller. Oh, see, that's, look at that, man. These were, I think they're going to reproduce these again. These, I always call them the torture chamber kits, but I believe they call them the monster scenes kits. When I was like 5, man, maybe I was 7, went into Dick's Hobby Shop in San Antonio, and they had a display with from the factory built. They built these model kits and painted them, and they had them on a display, and they were covered in blood, and there was the girl and the Mad Doctor, Dr. Deadly, and Vampirella, and all these torture devices, and Frankenstein was one of them. They don't show well, they do show Frankenstein, actually. What am I saying? And it was all amazing. Here comes Drew the dog. And I've seen those for sale, like on eBay and store-built displays. It's something that changed me forever, seeing that story. Yeah, they've got an old Golden Age Superman story printed here. And here was something Kirby was doing, Spirit World. It was a magazine about the paranormal, kind of this David Wilcock stuff like I'm listening to. I'm not paying attention to. Look at this little guy, kind of looks like Judo Master here. You can draw comics too. Anyway, so Superman Classic. And then they show these. Now, apparently, copy of this, you've heard the story, because even normal people are probably calling you and telling you because they know you collect comics. Superman #1 sold for $9 million. I saw it on CNN. Yeah, some old lady said, yeah, I've got some pretty valuable comics upstairs. And they said, they didn't care. When she told them, family, that at Thanksgiving she passes away, and they go up, and inside of, like, in between some newspapers, there's Superman #1, and it's like almost brand new looking. It's like 9.2. It sold for $9 million. And then a few days ago, Action Comics #1 sold for $15 million. It was Nicolas Cage's copy. Nicolas Cage, I remember he had a priceless collection of comics. I thought he had sold all of them, or maybe he did, and this was the one that was once owned by him. But Nicolas Cage, of course, has always been a comic book. A comic book fan. He was in a Ghost Rider movie that I never saw because I just couldn't picture Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, and I heard that it was a terrible movie. So I love Ghost Rider, at least the real Ghost Rider, not all that '90s. I never read it, but I just assumed it was no good. All these '90s different, I don't know, Spirit of Vengeance just looked like a bunch of crap to me. Maybe it was wonderful. I don't know. You can tell me down in the comments down below. While you do, give me a thumbs up and like and all that stuff. Subscribe. Here's the giant moon monster. But the moon monster is not drooling because this is a code-approved comic. He drools in some of the magazine ads. Not Keanu Reeves. Who the hell am I talking about? Nicolas Cage. I mean, his real name is Coppola. And he didn't want to, if he used Coppola, everyone would say the only reason he's in movies is because his uncle is Francis Ford Coppola. I think it's his uncle, something like that. He's related to Francis Ford Coppola. So he changed his name to Nicolas Cage so that people wouldn't say he's just a nepotism baby, or is that the right word, nepotism? So, he's being chased by a dinosaur skeleton. I hate when that happens. So anyway, he got Cage from Luke Cage. That's one of those things people don't know. A lot of people, you know it, but you can amaze people at Thanksgiving dinner, right? You know that Nicolas Cage got his name from Luke Cage, Hero for Hire? I liked when it was called Hero for Hire, but they changed it. I guess it's like, why is he the only hero you have to pay to get him to rescue you? And that's like, I guess it didn't come across well. 246. This is the end of the Silver Age for Superman. 247. 248. I never show the comics long enough. Everyone complains. That's probably why no one likes this channel. 249. I just flash. Here's this one. This one is 251. I always like this cover. Damn, man. Why is is that not bagged and boarded? This isn't bagged and boarded because I didn't have a bag and board big enough. But this is one I remember having when it came out. I remember getting this in Heidelberg at the book and magazine store next to the PX. I remember this cover very vividly. What happened to it, I don't know, but I got it again later in life. This is not. This is. Why don't they make a poster of this? I don't. Look at how fantastic that is. That's really great. Uh, Reprints of Golden Age stuff. I mean, look at this. Why is that everybody has Hawk Girl without Hawkman now? What happened to Hawkman? Why has he just been written out of the picture? It's like someone gets a divorce and tears the family photos in half, so you never see the other person. It's like I don't know. I don't. I know that it was probably from that 1990s Justice League cartoon. They they just had Hawk Girl, and I think someone said an episode had Hawkman, and he turned out to be a bad guy, of course, because he's toxic male. But I don't know. I thought they were a team, and in this new Superman movie, it was only it was only Hawk Girl. But anyway, look, the goofy Superman. This is one of the greatest covers of all time. Giant Superman Annual, number 3, The Strange Lives of Superman. And here's annual number 5. Each density being primarily its ray, whatever color that is, plus the attractions of the following ray pulling it forward in evolution. That's what we have right now. Number 6. Now, what is this? This is a new Superman Annual, made to look like an old Superman Annual, but I don't think this is a reprint. I think, what is this? This is a fold out? The key part here is what I highlighted in yellow. Does the frequency of the core vibration that forms the photon increase? This is really the basis of it. The ground state of reality, as if there was like a tone. Maybe this is a reprint of the first Superman Annual. Okay, that's probably what this is. From 1960. Okay. I thought maybe it was a fantasy. They've got the reprint, the first Supergirl. Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's what I was looking at is this letter from Mike Carlin explaining that this would be the very best way to introduce someone to Superman, this particular issue. Yeah, we'll just assume that's the first. Okay, whatever. Here's number 7. Okay, and that brings us to Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, which I don't have nearly enough of, but it's a great comic, number 13. Oh, this is from Gotham City Comics. That's the oldest Lois Lane I have. So here's number 14. Number 16. Man, this girlfriend causes a lot of trouble. 23. What I really love is this art by Kurt Schaffenberger. it's just, there's so much personality and so much whimsy in this art that it reminds me of the old days of Captain Marvel. So, the artists that I like the most are people like Kurt Schaffenberger and Marie Severin and Ramona Fradon and um, I don't know, man. Oh, this is a great cover. 29. Okay. 29. Notice that all of a sudden 10 cents is real big on the cover, as opposed to it had been the issue before. Well, this one says still 10 cents. So that's a bad sign. That was issue number 25, says still 10 cents. 23, it's just small 10 cents, right? Comics had been 10 cents since the 1930s. And now we're in the early 60s. So 23, big 12. Well, say it's the first 12 cents. Or is it? Hold on. 29. I don't know. That 29 was 10 cents. This is 33. So I don't know at what point they switched to 12 cents. Somewhere between, it was either 30, 31, 32, or it could be this issue's the first 12 cents. But anyway, they have it in a big, why have 12 cents in a big square? It's like, isn't that going to scare off the kids? That's there for the retailer who'd been used to charging 10 cents for decades. And then all of a sudden they change the price and they want to make sure it's real clear. Hey, we're 12 cents now. And the sales of DC and Marvel comics plummeted because boys did not want to pay that extra 2 cents. But comics that were aimed at girls, the sales remain steady. So this comic has always been considered to be kind of aimed more at your sister. Guys didn't buy Lois Lane; they bought the regular Superman titles. And so, from what I've read, Lois Lane, the sales remain consistent, but the sales of Superman and Action dropped. And the Archie comics remained consistently selling about the same with the new 12 cent. And this is one else I got from Gotham City. See, isn't this that's just fantastic art. That's just the way it is, I guess guys cared more about their extra 2 cents. I'm really going through this box to look at my Tales of Suspense until, well, I don't know. I don't know if you even care. This one's the same comic, but with a spine roll. Spine rolls caused by kids folding their comics back as they read. Another copy. This one came from Half Price Books. See, they're very common, and they're not that expensive because they sold a lot of copies, and there's not that much demand for them now from collectors. It's just from a few people like me, and look, this one also belonged to Randy. See, I shopped at the same stores, so like I go to Lone Star Comics, and maybe they bought a collection from someone named Randy. He might have written his name on every comic, so I might have several comics with the Randy name. I don't know but that's definitely that same Randy signature that I think was on another Superman comic we looked at a little bit ago. So, yeah, I just really love this artwork. It's just a lot of personality there. And you don't need to see. You don't need to see every copy I have. This is a great one, 62. It's got a Now it's got a black cover, so black covers are, everyone says, you got to look. Black covers are going to have a lot of what they call spine ticks from when they got bent over the years. Here's 64. Another copy is 64. Ooh. This one has some value, actually. This issue, number 70, because when they brought the Catwoman character back into the Batman TV series, she hadn't appeared in the comics in a long time, and this is her first appearance in the Silver Age. They decided to have her fight Lois Lane. Instead of bringing her back in the Batman comics, she came back here for some reason. So here's a really beat up copy of the same issue. This didn't used to have value, but at some point it acquired value when people started to get all excited about key issues and first appearances. This person, Schaefer, Rebecca Schaefer. She's got, see, she wrote it on the L's. Rebecca Schaefer. She owned this copy. Lois Lane's Aquaman tricks. She's got these flying colored fish. It's really a beautiful. If you could actually see it, you could see that she's. Anyway, this one looks like I paid $4.99 for it. At least I didn't pay $5. And this one is number 76. Oh, it's from Gotham City Comics. God, Kevin, you tricked me. I thought it was only, I didn't realize it was that close to $5. I'm just kidding. Number 83. Now we're moving into the I don't know if that's a Neil Adams cover, but it's definitely Neil Adams. And if that's not Neil Adams, it's someone trying to draw just like Neil Adams. And this is at the point where there was a backlash after Batman got canceled on TV. Then they tried to get more serious, and less goofy, and with the serious art and everything. And then Wonder Woman. They tried to make her like Emma Peel for a while from the Avengers TV show, where she was this karate expert and didn't wear the star-spangled outfit and everything. But, ooh, man. 95. Look at this cover. How... Imagine if they made comics like this now. Maybe it's a good thing, because then I don't have to spend money, because they don't make good comics anymore. Oh, here's Lois Lane getting married to the devil again. It's just shades of Satan. Lois has been turned into a demon, and look whom she's marrying. By the infernal powers of Hades, I take you, Lois, as my wife. Look whom? Is that correct English? Look whom she's marrying? I don't know. The only person I ever heard use the word whom was my father. And he went to Catholic school. Maybe, I don't know, the nuns may have taught him. But, no, was it whom? Yeah, he used whom, and he used shall. I shall. Like MacArthur, I shall, Richard. Not many people use whom and shall. This is an issue where Lois Lane changes her skin color. And it's a pretty good copy. There's no spine ticks on the black. Well, yes, there is. There's one there. I I see it. It's horrible. Ah, it's terrible condition. Okay, this cover 112 is really kind of spooky. People turn into trees, you know, and their eyes are blank. That's kind of spooky stuff. Uh-oh. Lois Lane's turned into one of those Minneapolis protesters there, it looks like. This is a pretty great cover, 122. 123. Oh, well, see what it is why is Lois Lane after Superman? Does L come after S? No, but the title of the comic is Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, so it would fall after Superman. It just makes sense for me to put that after, and then we move into Superman's pal, because P comes later in the alphabet than G, girlfriend, and then pal. So Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, that's where I start my Jimmy Olsen, and I start with 42. Man, I don't know why I don't have more. I should. Here's a cover that I've always liked, 60. I just bought it whenever I found them during the decades that I've always bought them. But sometimes I just buy the same one over and over again. And here's 68, The Helmet of Hate. Oh, he's turning. The red kryptonite ray is causing him to grow horns like a devil, he says. Here's 70. 72. Yeah, this Jimmy Olsen stuff is just so wonderfully weird and great. What is he talking about? Quantum physics. 74. '79, the red-headed beetle of 1000 BC. Saw a photo I'd never seen before of the Beatles without the drummer before Ringo came along, and this is in Hamburg, Germany, and they're on the roof of the place they were playing in, sitting there cross-legged with their all with the same leg over the other leg, posed, and they were wearing all black with black cowboy boots. And I would assume at that period they were trying to look like Gene Vincent in the Blue Caps. And there's 81. Never seen that photograph before. 81. Damn, I'm sorry, darn, this is great stuff. I just love it. There's another copy, the same issue. Oh, man. It's the convention of the anti-Superman gang. Lex Luthor Chief, Cosmic King, Crime Commissioner, Saturn Queen, Space Raids, Lightning Lord, Espionage, Brainiac Director, New Crimes. Wow, it's like the World Economic Forum. Oh, now they're going to dip into the Beatles well again. Bouncier than the Beatles, more electrifying than Elvis, see Superman strut the Krypton crawl. Yeah. Yeah, I should create a song, The Krypton Crawl. Maybe I'll do that tonight. But I'll forget. Watch. Another copy. Do any of you create music on Suno.com? Man, that's a wonderful hobby. Oh man, someone put new staples in this comic. Okay. They didn't, someone wanted to make sure this comic stayed together. Look at that. You can see the original, hold on. The original staples are here. And then someone put 1, 2, 3, 4 extra staples in number 99. Oh well, maybe there was a loose page in there. It's all part of the history of the comic. This one is autographed by Ed Steinman. He wrote it in pen there, and maybe people didn't see it well enough, so he wrote it in marker. Ed Steinman. This is my copy. 80-page giant. More Satan stuff. Oh, another copy of the same one. Great. Here's 97. Oh, this is when Jimmy Olsen got married to a gorilla. Superman, this joke has gone far enough. I don't want to marry a female King Kong. Sorry, Jimmy, but as local witch doctor, I now pronounce you man and wife. That's a story they don't reprint enough. 101. I'm not understanding anything Wilcox saying tonight. 104. Jehoshaphat. 113, it's the shock-filled anti-Superman issue. Here's 118. During this late 60s period, there was a lot of abuse of the heroes. I guess they thought that would appeal to the college crowd. Especially in the Flash comic, it seems like he was dead on the cover of every issue. Superman's having stuff thrown at him. People are protesting him. It's like the special hate Superman issue, because I guess they figure, well, the kids today, they're anti-establishment, and Superman, Batman, the Flash, the Justice League of America, they all represent America. So maybe if we have them being humiliated or being killed on the cover of every issue, we'll sell some. It seems like that's what they were trying to do. It got to be kind of a dark time. There's 127. Let's see if that's consistent. Here's 128. We're now into where things are being drawn a little bit more realistic period. So here's 129. See, it's moving into the kind of dark realism of Neil Adams. Kind of. I'm not saying that was Neil Adams. It might be. I don't know. That could. I don't know if that. There's another copy of the same one. I don't know if that's Neil Adams. What do I know? 131. Superman's ex-pal, the new Jimmy Olsen. See, yeah, Superman's always in. This one is important because it's the first appearance of Darkseid, which I used to think was pronounced Darkseid until I saw that everyone apparently pronounces it Dark Side, which Kirby was a brilliant creator. but he didn't come up with very good names for his characters. Darkseid is kind of a lame character name. That's why he needed Stan Lee. Big Barda, cool looking design for the character, but that's what Big Barda. That's, oh well. This one is important because the first appearance got a bad spine roll. See, bad. Let's look at this important first appearance. Is that it? Is that the first appearance of Darkseid? And yet this is considered the first appearance of Darkseid, and a full panel of Wolverine charging at you is not considered the first appearance of Wolverine. That's just a cameo. I don't know. There's Kirby there. I think that could be the first appearance of Darkseid. I don't think he's seen elsewhere in this. Now this, maybe that's why there's a spine roll, looking at this incredible spread there. Damn, that's great. But yeah, they didn't like the way that Kirby drew Superman's face, so they have everything's Kirby, but when you see Superman's face, it's not Kirby's. That had to be kind of insulting. I mean, he came out of Marvel and went over to DC, and he wasn't really treated that much better. And then he was creating all these new characters for them and these new titles, and they were failing because they were getting sales reports that they weren't selling. And it was just because the comics never got to the newsstand for people to buy, because there were these young comic resellers, dealers, that were going to the distributor and getting boxes of the Kirby comics from them and going out the back door with them before they ever got to the retailer, and the sales at the retailer coming back to DC tell them how well the comics sold. But these comics that were sold out the back door, and then they were sold in, well, they didn't really have comic shops, but wherever people bought, there might have been a couple around, but some were just dealers that set up in the back of bookstores, and they were. So the same thing happened with Silver Surfer over at Marvel. That was being bought up heavily, and it made it look like Silver Surfer wasn't selling. But oh well. Kind of water under the bridge now. But it was very clear, reading the stuff that Kirby was writing over at DC, that he really needed another person doing the dialogue. Kirby just didn't. He was an idea guy, but he was unable to write with the voice and that Stan Lee was able to bring to his characters, and that's the way it is. Here's the fake comic. I don't know when this was reprinted, but it's not real. It's not from the 50s, but it sure is spectacular looking. Oh, wow, we come to Tales of Suspense. Number 15. And oh my gosh, it's Tales of Suspense 52 with the first Black Widow appearance, which I bought for nothing at some point many years ago. And then I found another copy, which I got for nothing, because the Black Widow was not a big deal until the movies started coming out. Here's number 54. It's in nice shape, except for the tear at the top, but the rest of it's okay. This one's in really nice shape because it's not real. It's 57. It's a facsimile. Here's number 65. Right. 70. Many don't lose that number. Okay, so everything's inside 71. So there it is, man. That is the same shape that we were looking at. Star of David. 72. You know, the three-dimensional Star of David Merkaba. Another copy of 72. We're about done with this box. 73. I think we've gone through 2 boxes so far. Haven't we? Well, we went through, or did we? What did we go through? Yeah, we went through that box with the metal men, and what's in this box? There's a bunch of Flash comics in here. In this box, Fox and the Crow. Maybe I'll go through some of the Green Lantern, Hawkman. Yeah, I'll go through those. I'll go through those soon. Not on this episode. Because I don't know what time it is, man. Wow. You know what I discovered today? I was walking and I realized I'm not feeling any pain. Because I was having this problem with plantar fasciitis or whatever in my feet. And I just realized, man, I don't feel any. It's weird how it sneaks up on you. And it's all because of Charlton 66. Charlton, if you're watching this, spoke with him recently. His wife's in the hospital, so she's getting better. He says she's on the mend, but, you know, it wouldn't hurt to say a prayer because, you know, Charlton 66, our buddies, you know, and his wife, you know, that she gets out as soon as possible. Hopefully she's already out. But he said he'd been enjoying watching my shows while he's in there. And I said, well, the only good thing about that, there's nothing good about it, but the thing about hospitals is the food sometimes is the best food in town, and the cafeteria in the hospital is in. And because that's what I hear, that the local hospital here has really good food, but I've never tried it. So I know that from having, you know, when my mother was in the hospital and my father was in the hospital for long periods of time. I remember that's the only consolation, really. And sometimes they have such. I remember sitting in my father's hospital room, and the air conditioner was there, you know, and it would blow out such cold air. And I started to get a cough from it. Or I don't know if I was getting a cough, or maybe it's from the air, or maybe it circulates to the hospital. I was picking up something from, I don't know. Anyway, I started getting this really horrible cough. I just couldn't stop coughing to the point where it was painful. And then my father passed away, and my older brother says, you need to go to the doctor about that cough because they're going to record the audio of the funeral, and you coughing, it's going to ruin the recording. And I felt really bad. And I went to the doctor about the cough, and because I felt like, what if I cough? And but I'm thinking, well, whoever, they give you a tape, a recording, maybe on a CD. They used to give it to you on a cassette of the funeral. You know, it was the service, but whoever listens to that? Does anyone? You get the CD? No one plays it. But I felt really bad, like I was going to ruin the funeral of my father. But what can you do, man? Now I basically have no family, you know, just maybe got my wife, I've got my pets, I've got some good friends out there, you guys that watch the show, and maybe one or two girls to watch the show, because it's usually like a percentage point of it. Just always shows my statistics. It's pretty much all guys that watch the show. But yeah, I'm just at kind of a low point right now. But things will get better. But sometimes I think the whole world's going through a low point right now. Let me look at something real quick. I want to see if I have Tales to Astonish number 85. 85. Now, Tales to Astonish. I was the. Anyway, hold on. Let's just wait. Tales of Suspense. This is the comic that had Iron Man and Captain America, right? And so, these are the classic 60s stories of these characters, the ones that were adapted into the Marvel Superheroes cartoon. And yet collectors ignore these and pretend that they don't exist because they want to start with Iron Man #1 that came later, or with, I believe, Tales of Suspense with maybe issue 100. I don't. Well, we'll find out. Changes his name to Captain America, and then Iron Man gets his own title. And there are collectors that call these split books, and because it's not one character or the other, they just kind of avoid them. And I never understood that. And they don't sell, for the most part, they don't sell for as much as the comics that just. And the thing is, in 1968, when everybody got their own title, the stories weren't as good. They weren't bad, but this is where Marvel was really cooking, is in this time period. And yet this is when things were great. And so here's 84. I'm missing a lot of these, but I just can't, whenever I can, I like to fill holes in, and I might have an opportunity to get Tales to Astonish 85. So I'm looking through here to see if I have Tales to Astonish 85. I don't think I do. I wish I had it, but there's 88. Here's 90. I've got all these stories in these Marvel Masterworks hardcover books in the other room, but it's so much better to read them out of these original books. 91, 92, 93. They had Tales to Astonish, that was Hulk and Submariner. They had Tales of Suspense, that was Iron Man and Captain America. And then they had Strange Tales, that was Doctor Strange and Nick Fury. And before that, it had Giant Man and the Human Torch. But here's 95. 96. 99. Okay, so yes, with issue 100, Tales of Suspense becomes Captain America, and then Iron Man gets his own title. Here's Tales to Astonish 46. Okay, maybe Giant Man was in Tales to Astonish. I'm wrong. It was Human Torch was in Strange Tales, and then Human Torch was replaced by Nick Fury in S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, and then it became Nick Fury and Doctor Strange. Yeah, I forgot. Tales to Astonish is the one that had Giant Man, and then okay, I guess I have a couple of copies of that one. 53. Yeah, I've got some of these where the cover has been written on, but like written on in an insane way. With it doesn't even make sense. It's like this was, I should say, this is Stephen Hawking's personal copy. It's all these strange numbers written on it. That's 55. 57, you can tell it was owned by the same idiot. I don't mind when they write their name on it, but this is just like insane scribbling. But the rest of the book's perfectly readable and all that. It's just the cover, but the cover is kind of important. Okay, by 62, the Hulk had come back and was in Tales to Astonish. So it was Giant Man and the Hulk. The Hulk had his own title in the very early 60s that lasted 6 issues, I think 6 issues, and then was canceled, then he came back. This has writing on it, but it's minimal. It's just someone's name, Charles Harris, there, and that's okay. That's more tolerable. Here's 63. Is that the one I just showed? Yeah, it's the same one, just different copy. 64. That's a pretty good copy of that. 65. The new Giant Man. You can see they're kind of having trouble selling Giant Man because he was Ant-Man, then he becomes Giant Man, and they keep changing his costumes. You can tell the character's in trouble. Oh, here's another copy owned by that strange guy. He has these certain numbers. I think maybe it's the way he's cataloging his comics. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's doing his math homework. Here's 66. I always like this cover. Really nice colors there, courtesy of Marie Severin. 67. This is one of those books I got at Lone Star Comics. See the G next to the 7 and 67. That's one of those classic drawings of the Hulk that I guess you would call it iconic. I don't like to use the word iconic because then you sound like an egghead, but that's all right. Okay, 69. He just said, shoots out a lot of gas, and we're looking at Hulk overcome by gas. That's great. Love these little synchronicity bits. 71, Marvel Pop Art Productions. See that there. Another copy. Yeah, we're looking for 85. 72. 73. Another copy of 73. 75. What a great cover that is. Uh-oh. I'm just discovering something about this. Oh my God. Oh, that's terrible. Why have I never noticed this? Look at this. This one's been chopped. You see how it should be that tall. See, I've got them lined up at the bottom, and you can. Someone just took they chopped off the top, I guess, to get rid of the Marvel chipping. So, yeah, see, it cuts through the Comics Code Authority stamp. Damn. I never realized that anywhere. Here's 75, here's 77. Oh. So I guess I could really use an upgrade of 77. I don't know, man. How have I never noticed that? Ooh, here's another copy of 77, but it's coverless. So this would be the perfect thing to compare with, right? Because it's the same printing. Yeah, they chopped off quite a bit of the top there. Huh. I've shown you all these books before, but you've forgotten, and you're probably senile and forgetful like me. So, oh, here's another one, 81, owned by the same person, like to scribble numbers everywhere. 81. Wait a second. Yes, I have 85. Fantastic. I'm so happy. I don't need it. Because I can't spend money right. I'm trying not to spend money, but I don't want to spend. I'm trying to spend money on food. Okay, so 85. So why does it say? Oh, I wrote on the top of the box which ones I need. And I was looking at it. I don't see 85 there. So I mean, but no, these are the ones I need, not the ones I have. That's why I was confused. Whew. Fantastic. That's great. 86. 87. 88. 89. Now this will become the Incredible Hulk with issue 102, this title, and then Submariner will get his own title with issue 1, and Submariner, that comic will last until the early 70s. And when Iron Man was given his own comic, that lasted, although Iron Man was never a really big character for Marvel until the movie came out, really. It was never one of the big ones. But here's 93. I always loved this Marie Severin cover. It's I got this about a year ago, maybe. A little bit of a tape pull, but Marie Severin, brilliant artist. That's 93, 94, 95. I always loved this cover too. Go, 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 Hulk. 96. 98. At first, it looks like scribble, like on those other issues, but no, that's just it's just like rebar, I guess, from the destroyed building. 99. Beautiful cover.
of the photon exist at the largest scale level. That's all there is this geometric stuff. So I would
101.
actually argue that this
And
is
that's the
all there
last
is out there.
issue of
As interesting as that may seem.
Tales to
Remember, the
Astonish.
photon is not just gravitational. It is consciousness.
Oh,
Even our large-scale
we've got
geometry still has
the
geometry
Demon
at the
Dragster, obviously based on Big Daddy Roth. Teen Titans
It's
number
all hologram. It's all holographic.
3.
Geometry shows up at the largest scale, and it shows up at the smallest scale. And that's where we ended in our show the last time we were talking about this. All manifestations of this geometry really show up in different photons. And, that's fascinating because, again, the photons are telling us that we live in an illusion. They are not real. They are, according to law of one at least, made of intelligent energy that started out as love. Amazing.
I've got a book that reprints all the 60s Teen Titans comics.
I believe they're here to inspire our growth and evolution.
Yeah.
And if we go through this program and we follow the teachings of the universe, then we will get great results.
There's the missile firing tank again, and the spy pen from Man from Uncle that allows you to see through walls.
The principles of Christ truly represent our success formula on this.
That's issue 15.
Forgiveness, compassion, patience, and service to others. This basically wraps the heavenly
17, Return of the Mad Mod.
ensuring that you will receive universal protection and nothing bad is ever going to happen.
And here's a really ratty copy of the same issue. The mother of all spine rolls. Hot Wheels. It's traced in Hot Wheels. And this is Hot Wheels would date this at 1969 or 68. September, October 68. Oh, look. They sent off for the Civil War set, just like my brother did. And I wonder if I still have some of those little Civil War guys. They were this big. The box that my brother got was about this tall and about maybe the box was about this big, and about this tall. The guys were just super tiny, and it says it as an exploding bridge. Yeah, see back there, the exploding bridge. It was the bridge is this big and had a rubber band that would allow it to explode to come into two pieces. So anyway, this is at Lone Star Comics. They used to have a brick of comics this tall, sealed in cellophane, plastic, and it said a thing that said Wounded Wonders. All of the comics in here are guaranteed to be from before 1975, but they're all in condition that they couldn't sell them. And so sometimes it'll be a complete book, sometimes it'll be missing a cover, but... And it was, I don't know, $10 for... And you could kind of look at the spines and kind of see, oh, there's some good stuff in there. It'd be fun to just read. This is one of the things that was in one of those. It's in such terrible condition, you really can't sell it for... It'd be hard to sell this, to anybody. It's just... But you don't want to just throw this in the dumpster either. So they did those bricks, and I bought more than a few of them. And ultimately, all it does is really junk up your comic collection, because you wind up with these books that are so shitty, but you don't want to throw them away. And so I wind up putting most of them in a separate box. But some of them, like that issue of Teen Titans, was just good enough to throw in with my other Teen Titans copy of the same issue. Here she's got the new costume that would be more familiar to us in the 70s. Oh, and like I was talking last night, at a certain point when the comics code relaxed and allowed horror to come back into comics. All these comics, even the superhero titles, basically look like horror comics. The newsstand was like almost all horror in the early 70s. Well, this is a little bit earlier than that. This is probably about 68, 69. But by the time I was aware, around that time, 1970, it was all horror, House of Mystery, Unexpected, Ghosts. That was one of my favorite comics, Ghosts. And oh, I got another copy of the same issue. And I bet the next Teen Titans is going to have a horror. Why, yes. Look, see? Everything looks, it's just, that was a wonderful time for me because that's what I love is horror and monsters. We are living in this photonic holographic universe, he says. Man, we need to turn him up.
Where nothing good is ever going to happen and we're just stuck this way, our thoughts create reality. And I've given you all this stuff to think about before we talk about a little bit of bad news.
Bad news? What's that, David Wilcock?
And so disclosure is coming forward as well. The Stanford professor, Gary Nolan, is actually talking about ET factions duking it out. Why are they doing this?
Okay, let's look at some Thor comics.
Something deeper, using us as experiments or using our souls as a propaganda system. Yeah, that was amazing. What do you think? Is Gary Nolan onto something? Or is it sci-fi gone wild?
Or unless you don't want to.
He's saying in his video, he believes there are multiple factions.
What's in this box? Oh, this box says Iron Man.
John Greenwald from the Black
Wait,
Ball
we can say something.
confronted the three-letter agency.
Inferior 5.
They have any numbers on 3i Atlas. Oh, so not even confirmed or denied. We've never studied this or looked at it or done anything.
Thor.
Even though it seems like it's going farther away from us, he says it right here.
My oldest Thor comic is Journey into Mystery 98.
The fact of documents existing or not is classified.
Another comic I was buying in the early 80s and late 70s was Thor, these old issues, 101. Again, the one that was untouchable then was Amazing Spider-Man. I couldn't afford to get those, so I would get the reprints in Marvel Tales because I couldn't. They were too, that's always been a comic that's been untouchable. 104.
Let's hope that it continues that way. Let's hope that we can navigate this challenge, whatever we're going through right now.
106.
So again, the bottom line message that I want to give you is that photons are far more significant than they realize. So here at the 2-hour mark,
107.
we finally have some exciting new scientific evidence.
These are wonderful, but the only thing is it's just so sad that this era is gone. And 108. And all these wonderful people that created these comics are gone. So it's kind of bittersweet. 110. You say, but Grottu, they're still making Thor comics. Why don't you give them a try? Well, because I like this time period. I like the 60s. I don't want to read comics from today. Why would I do that? 113.
I know that some people out there might be really freaked out, but no matter how it may look, I do believe that we will be okay. We talked about
115, you know, it's like that.
very interesting stuff. And we are not afraid.
What was that Jay Giles song? My angel is the centerfold. You know, it's like he wants to remember his high school girlfriend or the guy he had a crush on when he was in high school as being this wonderful angelic thing, and then to find out, oh, she's done this. It's like that's what I feel like when I see these modern comics, what they've done to my favorite characters. 116. It's very much like that. It's like, oh yeah, you know that girl you had a crush on? Well, she's a meth fentanyl person now. I was gonna say something else. 119. That looks, when you see a cover like this, it usually means well, we didn't get the cover finished on time, so we're using some panels from inside the comic. That's usually What happened? Oh, and it's one of the pop art. It's when they changed it.
This is
Although the
again
P
the
is on
main
the other
purpose
side of the
factor here
comics,
is
it's
talking
op
about
art.
this, because you shoot out those love and protons through
119,
meditation, we get up to a 72% reduction in war, criminal activity, all that kind of stuff.
120.
John Halen was out talking about this. We've discussed it here many times before now. Non-denominational standard form of meditation, 7,000 people getting together.
August 3rd, 1965 says the date stamp.
Terrorism reduced by 72%.
121.
So you think maybe what I'm doing here is important? Because right now we've already got 2,600.
So I'm just a little over 3 months old when this comic came out. And this is my favorite time period, right about the time I was born. But I love the Bronze Age too when I was in elementary school. And there was still good stuff going on in the 80s, I guess. 23. 124, man, the Marvel superheroes cartoons when they adapted the first appearance of Hercules, those are so, that episode is so funny. This is interesting. This 125 over the 12 cents. There's a 15-cent sticker from some store. Total price. I don't know where what store that might be, unless maybe that was done in Canada. I don't know why they would charge 3 cents more at some particular store. Here's 126. 127. Yeah, the word Holocaust did not have the meaning it does today then. I think there was like an NBC miniseries, maybe about 1979, called Holocaust, about what happened in World War II. And I think after that, the word Holocaust pretty much only exclusively meant what happened during World War II. But before that, you see the word Holocaust all over these comic books. On the covers, like Armageddon and Apocalypse, Holocaust. It's just, it just meant flaming destruction. But now the meaning of the word is shifted, so you wouldn't see it just being bandied about on the front of a comic now. 130. Small cities actually have the biggest effects. And we saw that overdoses are down by the similar rate. 132. Everything is going down. It's all happening in the right direction. And we overlapped it with the graph of the overall trend. 133. Now that date stamp's a little obnoxious, but 8/6, August 6th, written in Greece. But it doesn't affect the art. It's part of the history of the comic. It's not like that scribble on those Tales to Astonish issues. 134. This one was going up in value a lot a few years ago because it's the first appearance of the High Evolutionary, and he was a character in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Oh, I've got 2 copies of that. 136. That didn't used to be a big deal, but then once characters started to be used in movies, then their first appearances became a big deal. This issue 137, I remember walking miles to buy this. I'm not sure. I'll have to map it out. I could do it. I could use Google Maps to map out the distance between the house I lived in as a kid and Lone Star Comics, the location where I bought this. That was the second location on East Abram. But I would sometimes during the summer, I would walk to the comic store and buy some comics and walk back with the money I earned from washing and waxing cars or mowing the lawn. I remember walking and buying this issue and walking back in that 100-degree sun in Texas. And I just wondered how many miles I walked to buy this. issue 137.
Yesterday's material, you stated we offer the law of one, the solving of paradoxes.
138.
You also mentioned earlier that the first paradox, or the first distortion I meant, was the distortion of free will.
139.
Could you tell me if there's a sequence for a first, second, third, or fourth distortion law of one?
140.
You say only up to a very short point. After this point, the manyness of distortions are equal one to another. First distortion of free will finds focus.
141.
Second distortion, known to you as logos.
Who is Replicus? When I look at that, I want to think Reptilicus, because I've got this giant 3-sheet for the movie Reptilicus hanging in the bedroom, where when I wake up, it's the first thing I see every morning. So I see Replicus, I think Reptilicus, because the repetition of seeing that name. Oh, another copy of this issue with a center fold in the center. I was about to say centerfold, but no, this is not a Hugh Hefner magazine. No, a little, they call it a subscription fold. This one, it might be a subscription fold. I could imagine kids subscribing to Thor. But when it's one of the first issues of the Metal Men, I don't think kids were subscribing to it yet. So sometimes you have a crease from it being folded to take to school, and sometimes from the fact they folded it to put it in an envelope. This is a great cover. There was an issue of Hellboy that did a tribute to this cover. 142. 143. This is the issue of Thor that they reprinted in the Origins of Marvel Comics as a, because they had the first appearance of Thor in Journey into Mystery, and then they had reprinted that issue to show how Thor evolved from his first appearance. And I think that one at the beginning, Thor is drinking a malt in a soda shop, and all the girls going crazy over him because he has this long flowing hair. He looks like, you know, some musician from England, you know, or something. So 145. You take all the godly raiments from Thor. Notice he looks a lot like the character Commandy would later in DC Comics. Raiments means clothing, right? I've never used that word before in my life out loud. 146. 147. That head would appear a lot in the Marvel Superheroes cartoon, very much. The angry Odin. 150. It was really great to see her in that Thor Ragnarok movie. I really like Thor Ragnarok. And then the same director comes back with the next Thor movie. Ragnarok was, I thought, great. Then he comes out with Love and Thunder, and it was just a colossal turd. It's like, how's that the same director? It's just like that first Wonder Woman movie was great. And then the same director comes back with this one set in the 1970s that was just pretty rotten. I mean, it had moments. I mean, I guess every movie has a couple of moments, but just, yeah. 153. 154. Ooh, wow. There's a few spine ticks, but still beautiful looking cover. Love that purple. What a great time period. What a great time to be a kid. If it wasn't for that Vietnam War the Democrats got us involved in. Here's 156. Seems like all these wars seem to start when Democrats are in. I don't know. Not to be political or anything. But if it wasn't for the Kennedy assassination and the Vietnam War, man, what a great time to be a kid. 157. Sold on a military base. See that star?
studies with the
Beautiful,
brain where he
beautifully,
beamed in
beautifully preserved
magnetic
copy.
energy, and then the magnetic fields
158.
actually create clocks.
This has got some damage there. See?
So what we see here is this is the Journal of
159.
Research. Increased photon emissions from the right, but not the left hemisphere.
And 160. And that's the end of that box. But
significant increases in the biophoton emissions from the right hemisphere of your brain.
That's the end of that box. Oh wait, there's more Thor over here.
15 centimeters from the head, demonstrated significant increases in biophoton energies along the right side, but not the left, when subjects imagined electrodes in a dark environment.
Oh yes, here's the rest of the Thor. 163. 164. 165. 168.
And then there's actual photons coming off of their brain
169.
that you would imagine correspond to white light, right? They're probably white photons.
170.
At the same time,
Charles Brown. Charlie Brown's copy. What else does it say? Oh, that's helpful. He wrote the date he got the comic, September 6, 1969. Okay, so we're into the 15-cent era. 172. Oh, wait a second.
And then it says down here that this was equivalent to the action potentials of about 10 to the 7.
I have Thor 172.
That's enormous.
Okay.
10 to the 7 is enormous.
That's one of the books that is.
So we're talking about now, that'd be, let's see, millions at least. Yeah, it's at least 1 million neurons. Maybe even higher than that. Bashir just donated. Thank you very much. Pray for Persia. Appreciate you. There he is right there, by the way. Right here. So True Float says, this is incredible info. Aurora Futura says this is hard to follow as a podcast. I'm sorry about that. But again, the point is that you're thinking about white light in your mind, and then these biophotons, they're invisible to the naked eye.
Second
You
here.
can measure them with the photon multiplier too.
Where's my Marvel Superheroes box? Didn't I just look at Marvel Superheroes?
As you think about white light, to me that is very astonishing.
I did, didn't I? Where would that be?
And again, I'm digging through the scientific data here.
Marvel Superheroes.
Some biophotons within cell membranes. That's where they think it's coming from. And this supports Bocon's hypothesis. The specific visual images are strongly created with the release of biophotons, and may actually be the experience of organized matrices of photons in the brain.
All right, so I have Marvel Superheroes 23.
Photons in your brain.
If you need a copy of Marvel Superheroes 23, Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona has just gotten one. If you need a copy of Avengers 73 or 82, or Thor 172 that I just showed you, he has a copy of that. Tales to Astonish 85, he just got a copy of that. So I have that already.
In fact, intracerebral biophotons were proposed to generate pictures during thinking. Holy crap.
Just letting you know.
The photon itself is now directly involved in your thought process and how your brain actually is working. That's just amazing. It's really, really amazing. Imagery would actually be stored in the photons, and the images would have very high amounts of data density.
I had this friend that would always go like this. I don't know. Why do you... He was this H.P. Lovecraft nut, and he would talk in such an erudite way. And it's like, oh, let's look at these books. Here's some Arkham House editions. You know, it's like these. these fat intellectuals that would like to go like this. Where does that come from? Oh, I'm so excited about looking at these Arkham House originals.
Think about it. If you have photons in this intelligent log one model, they're saying the first unmanned.
Oh my gosh, here's Thor. I'll show you Thor 174, man. Here's another copy. He's fighting against the Crypto Man.
The brain has
176. This is Kirby is just
they can actually be released out of the house.
biding his time. In fact, he's probably already gone at this point. Yeah. What was the last issue? He's definitely gone here. But anyway, he left around this time to go over to DC.
These AI beings have
Thor was still a good comic, though.
AI nanite infested beings.
He just wasn't there anymore.
Peering off their faces as they look at each other, they read each other's photons, and this is how they actually communicate.
And a lot of the characters he probably would have been using in Thor, he took over. He just stopped creating. Here's another copy of the same one. He took over with him to DC. Here's Thor Annual number 2 from 1966. Number 3, this is a book you see everywhere. They must have printed a million copies. I got 2 copies. It just seems like I see it everywhere. It's a common one that you see often. Here's 4. You say often or often? Which one sounds more intellectual? Here's number 4. And then this is I saw someone on YouTube talking about this, saying, why is this book worth more? This is just such a fantastic issue. And that is a good point. I don't know. No accounting for taste. Here's Special Marvel Edition number 1 that reprints Thor. Oh, the 3 Mouseketeers. Number 9. Nice scribble on there. What do you think? Oh, you want to get down there, Drew? Oh. Get down tonight. The reason 3 Mouseketeers is so important to me is because of this is my childhood copy of this 3 Mouseketeers that reprints the 50s 3 Mouseketeers created by it's just great stuff. Uh-oh, you're not vomiting, are you, Drew? Uh-oh. Drew, you all right there, man? I guess she didn't like her breakfast. Ugh, good God. I think she's been eating some cat turds, so I'm going to have to clean this up, ladies and gentlemen. So you can watch David Wilcock for a moment while I clean this mess up. Uh-oh, she's going to puke again. Oh my gosh. That's so horrifying. True. Oh my gosh, yes. Poor thing.
In evolution, several biomolecular mechanisms have been developed, making possible the formation of strong coherence of the information system in the brain. This coherence can serve as the basis of explicit holographic information in the brain. And then at the bottom, let's see if I've got this over here. Just want to make sure, yeah. Both explicit memory and consciousness could arise from sleep and dreams. Strong coherence of the information. I already read you this, but we'll do it again. Explicit holographic information system in the brain. Wow. The article does not go into details about neuromolecular, biophysical, or biophoton processes, but proposes a relationship between thermal regulation, that's temperature.
Anyway, the 3 Mouseketeers is a good comic.
Brain creating information. So there you go. Here's a guy who's right on it. Biophotons playing an important role in information processing in the brain during sleeping, dreaming, and wakefulness. And the brain can operate by its own pictures during thinking. You go to his website, this is where he's showing you. You look at a static green object like a tree. The inverted object goes into your retina. It has reflected green photons from the object, and then your eye, apparently his belief is that it's creating new photons, which then go into the visual cortex, V1, creating a biophysical picture using the photons. That the photons themselves actually are pixels inside the visual cortex. So that's a very, very interesting thing, that your eyes are sending actual photons that are visual images into the visual cortex, and then visual cortex is like a screen that reads the photons. This is a very, very different view of how we would view reality. And again, they saw this in the Persinger study by having somebody visualize white light, and then they had more of these white photons, I would assume that they're white photons, coming out of the brain 15 centimeters away. That's very, very fascinating stuff. And again, you're right, it's a Hungarian name, yep. How will Neuralink technology help people see, but also possibly form computer solutions in the brain? Yep, yeah. This is very, very fascinating. And it all kind of ties in very beautifully to a lot of different stuff. So, both consciousness and light function as carriers of information and action, and both appear to be self-referential. Light biophotons can be carriers of consciousness. There you go. That's exactly what the law of one said, that they're alive and intelligent. I'm not trying to just prove the law of one, but I want to emphasize this philosophical idea of light as intelligent is now being determined by scientists. It's really, really fascinating. Human memory can operate through dynamic pictures, and we link these pictures to each other in the learning process. It seems to be quite suitable that we search through information processes at weak electromagnetic levels of biophotons in the brain. Therefore, telepathy could be a photonic transfer process. That's the really cool implications of this, actually. The idea that telepathy could be that we create photons in our brains and we're shooting them out into the universe, and other people can pick them up. And that's a very, very fascinating concept. Could a non-terrestrial intelligence actually do this? Yes, it certainly could, right? If there was, angelic beings or something, they might be sending us love and light. Law of One tells us that's what they're doing. Could stars and galaxies do this as well? Well, what did the Law of One just say? That the sun is creating fourth density photons that are accelerating our evolution. So there may actually be pictorial intelligence in the photons. And so I think we'll cover this stuff again next week, but Ocon gets us into all kinds of interesting stuff here. Let me just make sure any of these slides, there's anything that I missed that's absolutely important. Let's see here. Yeah, so, okay, we'll read this one a little bit here because it's from his abstract. It's pretty cool. So there's the whole thing if you wanted to pause it, look at it up close. But this is the name of the paper, Dream Pictures, Neural Holography, and Laws of Physics. According to laws of physics, electrical signals generate visible pictures if electrical signals are converted to electromagnetic waves of visible light photons.
I have no idea what he's talking about today.
Pictures created by photons. During dreams, our eyes are closed. The brain is isolated from visible electromagnetic waves, but yet we see visible dream pictures. It follows from the foregoing that electrical signals of brain's processes
Come on, Drew, let's go for a walk.
generate visible pictures of dreams if and only if electrical signals are converted to weak electromagnetic waves of visible photons into the brain. And he goes on and on from there and proves this in very, very fascinating ways. Nobody can explain the origin of visible dream pictures. Only laws of physics are being taken.
Where are my sunglasses, man?
Homeotherm state and REM phases of sleep are developed simultaneously.
Come on, Drew, let's go walk. I can't, I know my sunglasses are here, but it's all right. I might have left them outside in the car. Oh, here they are. Amazing. Come on, Drew.
Exact temperature regulation is important for many holographic systems because holographic pictures can be performed.
Okay, where's the leash? The leash. If I was a leash, where would I'd be right here next to this box. Plastic Man comics. Come on, Drew. Let's go. Drew, come on. Drew, let's go outside. Drew, why don't you want to go outside? Come on, let's go outside. We're going to have... Sometimes she wants to go outside. Sometimes she just really doesn't. It's not that cold, Drew. It's fine.
Very, very important stuff.
Drew, let's go outside. Get a treat. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Food. Come on, Drew. The only dog in the world that doesn't like to go for a walk.
Psychometry is this classic technique used in crime fighting where, let's say, you pick up an object.
Drew, let's go outside. Come on, Drew. Okay, if I put the leash down and I walk towards the door, then she'll follow me. Watch. Ah, here she is. Drew? Let's go outside. Come on, Drew, let's go. Oh, now she's excited about it. What in the name of heck? Can you get more bipolar than that? Come on, Drew. Let's go down and see how things are going, man. Come on, Drew, let's go this way. This way. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Drew, this way. Come on. This way. How dare you? I just stepped in some dog poop. Looks like. Great. Drew, I gotta do some more walking to get this poop off my shoes. Like it's about time I just throw these shoes in the trash. They're falling apart. These are just shoes I throw on when I'm in a hurry just to go out to walk the dog or something. Come on, Drew. Let's go this way. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Man. Let's go this way, Drew. Okay. Okay, little cat's waiting for us to come back in. There's all the poop off my shoe. I can't see, man. Looks like it, maybe. Okay. Okay. Well, that was quite an adventure. Well, I'll show you some more comics soon. It's about 4 o'clock here now, 10 minutes till 4.
And they would wake him or her up out of their rapid eye movement state.
Yeah.
And then have them document what their dream was.
Well, it was nice for you to drop by this evening. If you could see it in your heart to help out with a GoFundMe that I'll put down below. God bless you if you can't, that's, it's fine. But help out if I'm providing a service and entertainment for you, then give me I'm like PBS, NPR. I reach out occasionally, and man, if you can help out. I just really retired too early. I shouldn't have retired at 55.
So one night, the selected image was school
So
dance
now,
by the
that was 5 years
features
ago.
several young women in the dance class. In fact, let me see if we can.
You know, we were kind of making it when my wife had that extra job, but now they're ghosting her and not. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be rough. So we'll see what I can do. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon.